Hello, you are in my bedroom. This is the room that normally just has my bed in it and storage. That's about it. So, my actual room, or at least the room that you see me in videos, that's my main room with, all of my stuff in, except my bed. However, it is, under maintenance right now, so I have relocated here temporarily. Pardon the change and also the lower sound quality. In any case, it is finally time to watch some seasonal anime. The fall 2022 season is upon us. And so I watched Mob Psycho to start off with because that's just the one I started with. And Mob is great. Mob is a great series, and I really love it. But I'm also wondering where it's gonna go because it feels like Mob has kind of made its point already. It feels like a complete story as it is. The first two seasons essentially told a complete story, and I'm just not really sure what else there is left for the story to do. However, I think it's going to be okay because, one, the author just writes really, really strong character stories with these really, really great hooks, these really, really great themes, and they're an absolute blast to watch. And so far, that has been the case for Mob Psycho. It is still super high quality in its presentation, its creativity, in its messaging, all the things that it wants to say. It's great. So far this season, it's basically about Mob going through his cultural festival arc. He's also at the point in his life where he's being asked about what he wants to do with his life. He's at the part of school where he's about to graduate middle school or coming up against on that. I'm actually not sure what like age or year he is, but he's at the part where they get the survey that says what do you want to do for like career paths or colleges and things like that, and he's just like, oh, I have no idea what to do with my future, which is such an awesome theme to have in this story because it's about this supernatural kid who can theoretically do whatever he wants, but he doesn't want his power to define him. And that's just such a great theme, and again, that's why this series is such a blast to watch. It's such a strong hook to the series. So he's kind of thinking about what he wants to do, and also he has to help prepare for the cultural festival that he's a part of. And so it's like these crazy things are happening around him where he's following around Reagan and they have to exorcise these evil spirits and shit like that. And he's just like he's just walking around going, oh, but the costumes, what is our budget, how can I contribute to this? And it's so funny. Reagan is one of my favorite characters of all time. He has been. He always has been. But I guess I haven't thought about it in a while. I haven't thought about why my favorite characters are like my favorites. And so seeing him for the first time in like 3 years has been so great. I just suddenly remember, oh yes, this is why this guy is in my top 10 because everything he does is just fucking amazing. The way he's able to do his job, which is supposed to exorcise spirits and stuff, by just trying these weird household life hacks. Basically, it's so fucking funny. There's one scene where they exercise this, like, I don't know, this decoration that someone had that actually was possessed by an evil spirit, but in the process of exercising it, they accidentally break off a piece of it. And so Reagan is like, leave it to me, and then he just starts furiously like slapping it with rice and I think something else, and the narrator is like, this is Reagan's special move where he uses a grain of rice and unlocks its full potential, and it's so dramatic and so over the top and it's so stupid, but it's great. Everything about Reagan is wonderful, but even though he is like, I guess in a way doing something really not good, he's kind of like being a scam artist, he also has his shit together in a really good way, and he's able to genuinely guide Mob through some issues that he's having, where again, Mob is like trying to think, oh, what do I do with my future, and Reagan is like, You know what, dude? You're too young to know what you're gonna do in the future. Like, I mean, it's a good idea to have a direction, but sometimes some people just don't figure it out for a while, and that's fine. Like, don't worry about it so much and just live your life. And that's such a great message, dude. There's so many great messages in Mob Psycho, and it is a really wonderful series. So I'm really excited to see it again. I'm on my bed, and Jeffrey is laying on me. Hi, Jeff. So I cannot move. Pop Player is just going to open up the next thing on my computer in my folder, which is Mob, which is actually good because I have a couple episodes to watch of Mob anyway. Look at this buddy. Look at this big orange buddy. Anyway, I watched Golden Kamui. Uh, Fourth season. We're up to 4 seasons of this. It's funny how back in like 2018, I oh yeah, there were 2 seasons in 2018. It was a split core show, and I said after the second season, I said this seems like the kind of manga that won't get another season for like 5 years. I'm really glad I was wrong about that. In fact, Golden Kamui is over now, which is interesting. But there is still a lot of manga content. I think we're only about like halfway through the series so far. So I saw a source reader saying that there's going to be at least a season 5. So that's cool. And it doesn't feel like this series is about to wrap up whatsoever. I'm not entirely sure where it's ever going to go or like how it's going to end because there's just so much going on in Golden Kamui. Like this series is one of the most dense things I think you can watch, but not in a bad way. Although I will say that each time a new season starts, I'm always just like, "What the fuck is going on, dude? I don't remember." Oh, hey Jeff. He didn't want me to talking. He's like, "Fuck your boring ass video, homie." Um, well, we can lay next to Reggie instead. Hey, Reggie. So, yeah, Golden Kamuy just has so much going on in it. There are so many characters that every time I'm like, what happened last time? Where are we? What is going on? But it's fine because what is happening basically ever is just so interesting that I'm just into it. It's like, all right, not sure where I'm going with this. Not sure where Golden Kamuy is going with this, but I want to see it. The characters, again, I don't even remember who some of them are. I don't even remember most of their names, but they're so enjoyable and they have such a weird and great chemistry with each other that it's like, yeah, all right. Although I will say, so far in season 4, I haven't been as hooked because it's kind of doing the thing it does every now and then where it just goes off and focuses on other characters because it's all about one thing. Okay, so the main plot of Golden Kamuy is that it's basically a treasure hunt. There's basically this there were these prisoners that escaped, and all of them have this like pattern on their backs, and if you connect them all, like if you find all if you're able to figure out to see all the different patterns and you connect them all, they apparently create a map, and then the map leads to this buried treasure somewhere, and it's early 1900s Hokkaido, so it's very cool. So that's the main plot of it, and there are lots of different characters who are trying to find it. That was not that was hey. That was really weird. Why did he do that? I never heard him meow like that. That was not a just a friendly meow. That was like a oh my god, I'm in danger meow. What the fuck? Maybe it was on accidentally laying on his tail. Hey, are you okay? Where'd he go? He's out. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, he's probably fine. Right. Reggie meows for lots of things. Oh, he's throwing up. Probably ate a plastic bag. That's his fucking problem. God damn it. Anyway, what the fuck was I saying? So yeah, so the main characters are the main guy. I think just wants the treasure. I think I actually kind of forgot. But then the person he's traveling with a Sherpa is in Ainu, which is like an indigenous person, basically. And I think it was her father that created the map. It was her father that orchestrated this whole thing. So she's just trying to figure out, like, I don't know, the truth behind her and what her father was doing or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Again, it's like it doesn't matter, but what happens moment to moment is a lot of fun. And then there are other people who are into the treasure. Most of them are led by this guy in the army named Sarumi, who's a very charismatic fellow, and the people that follow him are just endlessly devoted to him. It is the most straight anime that I've ever seen. I'll tell you that. Um, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Very very interesting series. But anyway, I said I'm not as hooked on it because so far it's just kind of been going around to different characters, introducing some new ones, but it's also some of them are a little more serious than I think I would appreciate. Because what's fun about Golden Kamuy is that even though what happens in this series is so interesting and often dramatic, it's also very very comical. Like this series is goofy a lot of the time. It's just a very very comical, ridiculous series, that's I think what makes it so enjoyable and so fun moment to moment. Yeah. So I watched that. Good to see this series back, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. All right, so I watched the first 3 episodes. Oh shit! I just did something. I pressed the wrong key. I just watched the first 3 episodes of The Witch of Mercury. Actually, I should say the first 3 episodes plus the prologue. So 4 episodes, basically. Episode 0, and then 1, 2, 3. Hi, Macy. Say hello to Macy. You've now seen all 3 of my cats. Reggie's here, as usual. This is normal. Hi, Reggie. He doesn't even care. You can just beat him up. He doesn't care. Meow, what? I mean, you can't do that like too much, but it's okay. Anyway, Witch of Mercury. The prologue. Actually, first of all, I should explain that I have never seen a Gundam series before. Believe it or not. Like, I've seen. Like, what mechs have I even seen? Ava? Some random seasonal shit? That's about it. So I've not seen anything in the Gundam series at all. And I asked around a little bit if I could watch this without having seen anything else. Because I saw people were like really popping off about the show, and they were like, yeah, you can. The only prerequisite is watching that prologue, which is so far the best part of this show. The prologue I thought was excellent. Really, really strong just setup for this whole series. And just as a standalone like episode, as a standalone series, just awesome, fantastic, heart-wrenching, great characters, great story, just great everything, great presentation, loved it. The actual TV series is comparatively underwhelming, I would actually say. Like, it's not bad, but I will say it kind of reeks of something really shallow. And again, I have not seen the Gundam series, so maybe it is typically tropey like this. Although I do, from what I understand, this is the first installment of the Gundam franchise that has a female protagonist, and I think it's also the first one that's taking place in a school. But it I shit you not, this series or that yeah this The Witch from Mercury is basically a battle harem magic high school anime from like 2015, but it's in 2022 and it's just with Gundams this time. Like, I swear to God, dude, the whole premise of like this one girl is controlled by her father, who's just some one-dimensional piece of shit, and she's being forced to marry. Like, I've seen that shit before. That was a Undefeated Bahamut Chronicle or Unlimited Bahamut Chronicle, some fucking shit. The whole like, oh, a transfer student shows up to this fancy high school, instantly duels the strongest guy, and then wins, even though like no one knows anything about her, and she seems like this underwhelming loser.
like what was that? Chivalry of a Failed Knight, fucking Asterisk War. It's like those shows back again in 2022. It's like I couldn't believe that I was watching this. It's like this feels so displaced. Not that this show is as bad as those, but the characters in this, I will say the leads. Okay, the two female leads in this series are fine, and I enjoy them. And I would say the rival, although he does come off as one-dimensional and just comically evil, especially in the first episode where he's supposed to marry one of the other girls. Basically, there's the female main character and then the other one, so I'll just refer to her as the other one. I don't remember their fucking names. I'm bad with that. I'm sorry. Suletta is the main character's name. What's the other one? Don't know. Not important. But so this guy is marrying not Suletta, and he's just like, well, I can do whatever I want because I'm the son of this guy, and I beat you in a duel, so that means you're my wife. And if you don't like that, I'm gonna beat the fucking shit out of you, which he almost does after wrecking up her greenhouse, which is just a pet project. Meow. Um, he's just like comically, ridiculously assholish, obviously, so that we can dislike him. But he does end up having a little more depth in the following episodes where he's trying to live up to his potential or something like that, be someone that his father can be proud of, and also just trying to decide for himself what he wants to do and what he wants and who he wants to be. So that makes him a little bit better. But then his dad, or there are several dads in this show, but like the actual bad guys of this show are just so ridiculously one-dimensional. There's a bit of a political aspect to the show that I would say, because like there's the Gundam that Suletta is using it's an actual Gundam, which is not allowed. It's like because of the prologue they got rid of all the Gundams, but she has the one that survived basically, and no one knows about it. So they try confiscating it, they try destroying it. So they had like this sort of a power meeting between all these different companies, and there's like I don't know, like regulations with all this shit, right? And the guy who runs it is just like, I think it's a Gundam. Fuck everyone else's opinion. I said so. Like he literally just like, they're literally the woman, Suletta's mother, basically is trying to defend it and saying, no, it's not a Gundam, it's actually a drone, lol. And he's just like, I don't care. And she's like, okay, so why do you think it's a Gundam? And he just says, because I said so. And that's it. End of conversation. It's so fucking dumb, dude. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, I understand why this is happening. I understand the power dynamics at all, but it is just so shallow. And it is just so, like, it's just so eye-rolling. Like, I get it. I'm not supposed to like this character. He's supposed to be an asshole. He's supposed to be a bad guy. But it's so just lame overall. It's like, oh my god, is this the only way we could have written this conflict? That's basically my gripe with it. So yeah, I would actually say this series is like just kind of okay. Like it's still fun. The mech battles are fun. The lead characters are fun. It's just that some of the actual plot details, like the point A to point B, is just so annoyingly shallow that just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, I guess. What are your thoughts on The Witch from Mercury? Look at this Chungus cat. He's so fat. Yeah, I called you fat. It's true. You're a big Chungus cat. Big Chungus cat.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So I was just about to talk about the fucking Eminem and Shadow or whatever. But look at the new Pokemon set that's going to come out in Japan really soon. And then eventually in America. Look at this fucking bullshit. And you're probably like, alright, that's pretty cool. No, we're not done, motherfucker. Look at this fucking shit. You want to know my favorite deck right now to play? It's Hisuian Zoroark. So here's a new Hisuian Zoro arc. It's like the best art I've ever fucking seen. I'm not gonna survive this, boys. I'm not gonna survive this. How could they do this to me? Anyway, the Eminence in Shadow, I think that's the name of this anime. Just watched 3 episodes of that. I know there's another one out. I don't have time to watch all the episodes of everything, so I'm gonna try getting at least 3 episodes. I have very, very mixed feelings about this. And the show itself is very all over the place. In 3 episodes, it has literally become 3 different shows. At first, it starts off with a relatively normal high school anime, but then the main guy... So there's the main girl of the school who's like a princess or some shit. I don't know, she's like a celebrity. No idea what the fuck is actually happening, but she's really important and stuff. And then she gets kidnapped. And then the main character, who's like the most average guy in the world, he's the average high school guy. He's actually Batman by night. He's some kind of vigilante who goes around beating up biker gangs and shit like that. So he ends up killing the guys that are kidnapping this girl, but she doesn't know about it, and that's about it. Then he gets hit by a truck and fucking dies. So the second episode is about him building up this secret organization, because he's now in an isekai fantasy. He has a super incredible magic power where he can just kind of become slime, or rather he has like an ability to control slime, where like he wears this suit and it's made out of slime, so it can just like morph into whatever. He has a sword that can stretch and do all kinds of crazy shit. It's a pretty cool power. So he's doing that at a really young age, and he's still kind of doing his vigilante shit. Then he ends up finding a Mitty. Like, he ends up finding Mitty from Made in Abyss and just, like, experiments on it for a month until it eventually becomes a human. And then that... Okay? The thing stopped recording. At about 3 minutes in, I have no idea why. What the fuck else was I saying? So the guy he had a Mitty. He experimented on it until she became a human. And then with her, he begins this secret organization called Shadow Garden, and it's like, oh, we're gonna take down the cult of Diabolos or whatever. They're this group of people who are trying to revive the Demon King or whatever, which I don't think he actually it's just shit that he made up, but he's going along with it so he can continue his vigilantism. And that was kind of funny, actually. It was kind of cool how he was able to just bumble into all these different heroic things. Like, he doesn't seem to really know what he's doing, but he talks so confidently, and whatever he does talk about, it ends up, like, the things he says end up being correct. Like, his sister gets kidnapped, so one of his assistants is looking at this map, and it has, like, 10 different areas circled. There's like, oh, they could be hiding anywhere, and he just points to one of them and he's like, it's this spot, definitely this spot. And she's like, you knew that there would be a secret hideout located in this place. Sasuga master, very perceptive. And he's like, yeah, I totally knew that. And it's like, does he actually know? Does he actually know what he's doing, or is he just making it all up as he goes along? But then at the end of the second episode, the girls end up leaving. They're like, all right, sorry, master, we've got other shit to do now. Bye. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I should have expected this to happen at some point. They must have figured out that everything I'm doing is complete bullshit, and they're going to go live their lives or whatever. And it's like, okay. And then episode 3 becomes a Magic Battle high school show. Like, how is this
still a thing in 2022, and how did I get two of them at the fucking same time? Two of them consecutively. Like, it's the guy enrolls into high school. He's the most average guy. He ends up somehow dating the big chick in the school, and it's like, okay, it wasn't bad, but it was way less interesting than what was happening in episode 2, which I might even argue was less interesting than what was happening in episode 1. The show keeps reinventing itself, and each time it gets worse. Just make one show next time. Fucking hell. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't dislike it, but I definitely enjoyed it less as it went on. And after episode 3, I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of okay with not watching more of this show right now. So I mean, it does end on a bit of a cliffhanger, but still, it's like I gotta watch other shit now. So average seasonal, I guess, for better or for worse. It's okay, I guess. All right. Next, I watched Akiba Meido War. Meido. My analyst actually made a note of this, which is kind of cool. I'm gonna pause this so I don't get fucking owned by copyright. And I'm moving over because Macy's here. Hi, Macy. Black cats are so fucking cool. Look at it. It's just there's no features. It's just shadow. She's my beautiful, dark, twisted Macy cat. Wait, that's not a good reference to make anymore. Fuck. Anyway. Akiba Meido War. Meido, the kanji for it, is actually written like underground or underworld. Yeah, underworld in the title. So that's a cool little double entendre. Anyway, it's basically a show about gangs in Akihabara, but the gangs are made cafes. It's pretty fucking based. There's not much more to it than just saying that. It's like, it's just it's these maid girls who just go around committing violence or otherwise experiencing other cafe cultures. So it kind of seems to be going for a weekly sort of thing where this one week they're going to go to this cafe, and this cafe is actually a casino. And then episode 3, they go to this cafe, which was called like the Fluffy Sweets Cafe, and it's just a fucking wrestling ring. It's like an underground boxing club, where people are just taking bets and shit like that. And like the things that they're doing, they're not all that interesting or groundbreaking, really. Like, the actual action of the show is nothing that you haven't seen in other shows already. I would actually say so far the most similar anime is Kakegurui, but both because episodes 2 and 3 had to do with money and gambling, essentially. But I would even say somehow Kakegurui does that better, as weird as that might sound, because Kakegurui didn't really do gambling all that well. But yeah, like the actual action of this anime, it's like you've seen this before, but it's with maid girls, and that's kind of interesting. The sort of I don't even know if I want to, if you could call her tomboyish, but this very mature, deep voiced girl named Ronko, who usually just has these very blunt replies, is definitely the best character, and she's the one thing that I think really stands out in this anime. It's honestly like I want to like this show more, honestly. I want to be like, yeah, this is like the greatest anime of all time. I did like episode 1 a lot, but then episodes 2 and 3 are just like, okay, so this is what the show is, basically. It's like you just kind of get it, and it's like, okay, there's not too much depth to it, I guess. And it's just like silly monster of the week type things. Yeah, so in a way, it's not like as great as the premise of it kind of sounds, but it is fun. Like it's fun. It's all right. I enjoy it. Also, terrific OP. Perhaps OP of the season. Definitely one of the best of the year. Now, the next anime I'm going to watch is Renai Flops. I have to make this a point because in my preseason impressions, I had some I had a very, very weird vision of Renai Flops, basically. Like, there was, like, you looking at the show, it seemed like it was just a very typical, generic rom com, but it's directed by the guy who directed Happy Sugar Life and Smile Down the Runway, two shows that have this very intense psychological aspect to them. And one of the key visuals was like drastically different from the others. I don't know. There was a forum post that I saw that said like, okay, something's going on with Renai Flops because there's just something really weird about this anime, and I was kind of leaning into that as well. I'm just like, there has to be something going on here. However, I've heard no discussion about this anime whatsoever, and someone and a couple people on Discord were just like, Maz, you were dead wrong about Renai Flops, and I'm like, okay, look, first of all, I ain't say anything. I just said there was a possibility. I didn't fucking say that this was going to be like Monica 2.0, but I felt like it needed to be pointed out. So yeah, I'm going to watch Renai Flops right now. Just getting this out of the way in case I'm disappointed. I don't want anybody being like, you told me Renai Flops was going to be anime this season. I'm like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I will not have this. So yeah. Velvet Black. Look, oh, you kind of saw her eyes for a second. She has eyes, believe it or not. Okay. I'm like... Yeah. It's not a banger! No! This motherfucking director, Nobuyushi Nagayama. This guy directed Happy Sugar Life, and I will stand by it. Stand by this. Happy Sugar Life is one of the best directed anime I've ever seen. One of the most underrated anime of all time, I think. I fucking love Happy Sugar Life. I have an immense amount of respect for that series. And he followed it up with Smile Down the Runway and Uramichio Nissan. So, seeing this guy as a director of a series, it does make me think, okay, this show is probably going to have some kind of dark psychological twist to it in some sort of way. It's going to have these very heavy atmospheres, these really dark moods. I mean, every now and then it can flip-flop between those and also really happy things, I guess. Right? So that's what I'm kind of looking for. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to when seeing this guy. However, I also have to acknowledge that this guy directed an anime. His first anime that he directed before Happy Sugar Life was something called Show Bitch. My girlfriend is a faithful virgin bitch. That was actually the title of the series, which was just some dumb rom-com with a lot of innuendos, and that was basically it. I think it might have been a bit of a harem. I remember watching it when it came out, and it was funny for one episode, and I didn't watch any more of it because I'm like, this is not going to be funny for the rest of the series. I was already over it at the end of that first episode, and I heard it wasn't good at all. So yeah, I have to remember that Nagayama also directed that, and Renai Flops. It's like Show Pitch all over again. It's just a series. It's just a series with lots of etchy hijinks and innuendos. The main character really likes bananas, so much so that he fucking toasts them. That is the one thing I will give this show credit for. It has toasted bananas. I have never seen that in my entire life. That is the most unhinged behavior I've seen any character exhibit in the first in any anime this year. Sorry, I just had a stroke and forgot how to talk. So that's that. I will say the character designs are all right. The show still looks fine, but it is not at all what I wanted. So this guy, I am now dubbing him like a Russian roulette kind of guy. You know, maybe you're gonna get a banger.
with Happy Sugar Life and those other things that I praised. But maybe every now and then he's going to come back to doing some etchy hijinks types of shit. It just it just fascinates me that this is an original series. Like this is an original series, and also it takes place in a very technological, futuristic society where like every sort of media personality is a VTuber. It's like it's like this show has some weird ideas, but at the same time, it's just so just nonsense and so dumb and so shallow. Like the appeal of it is so shallow that it's like, why did you even bother? What is the point of making an original anime like this in 2022? I don't get it, dude. It's so fucking weird that the show exists like this. And I actually skipped ahead and looked around in like episode 3 to see if maybe something happened later on that really changes the trajectory of this series, and no, it doesn't. I didn't even finish the first episode, honestly. I could tell you why, but you might be more offended than understanding. Well, you wouldn't be offended in a bad way, and you would definitely understand. But it's let's just say there are some things that you might not have want to heard about in this anime. So I think we're gonna leave it at that. So Renai flops. I'm gonna take out F's in chat for Renai flops. Renai F lops with a capital L, because I am taking a big L on this. I also just found out that Nagayama, he has an anime coming out next season, actually. Saikyo Onmyoji. It's an isekai. And then also, there was something that just got announced a couple days ago. The people that made K Project, no one remembers what that is. It's a Studio Gohan's original series before they did Handshakers, but basically it was made by I don't know, some creative group. They're doing another series. It's another original anime called Ayaka. It's got Red Juice, who was the character designer for Guilty Crown, and most recently Iris, the VTuber. Yeah, he's directing this. So he's got an original anime, not by Gohan's, not by Gohan's. Unfortunate. I know. You were probably thinking, oh, Gohan's. If I found out this guy was directing an anime at Gohan's, I would be jumping up and fucking down. That would be the funniest shit of all time. But yeah. Oh well. Oh well. Maybe I'll just concede that Happy Sugar Life was a one-time thing. And I mean, Runway and Uramichi Onisan are nice, but they weren't at that level. They were like good shows. They were all right shows, but they weren't Happy Sugar Life. Happy Sugar Life was a one-time thing, maybe. Still going to hold out hope that he can direct something really, really good again, though, because Happy Sugar Life was just way too fucking good.